Всем привет, я Хенки, и сегодня мы продолжаем играть в игру Vampyr. Пойдем по побочным квестам, как я и говорила. Сначала на кладбище. Букет. Я подобрала букет. Значит, где-то тут нужно его положить.
Yes.
Вот.
The place has changed since the explosion, but it was definitely here. I should find some way to pay my respects. May all who suffered from this tragedy find or rest in peace.
Не вижу, что там написано. Что-то не по-русски.
This place. Rain may have washed away the blood, but not the memory. My poor Mary.
Здесь мы проснулись в самом начале игры. Кто-то тут есть? Какая забавная машина. Подъемный кран. Маленький. Так, вот, по-моему, эти бандиты. Записка с предупреждением. Привет, парни. Вы жалуетесь, что вам поручили грабить мертвецов в Саутуарке. Говорю первый и последний раз. Хватит ныть. Радуйтесь, что я не передал ваше послание Эдвине. За него она бы вам яйца отрезала. Кроме того, одна птичка мне напела, что вы надо мной потешаетесь насчет того, что я видел у пирса. Значит, я просто псих, который своей тени боится, или сумасшедший, который боится призраков, словно старуха. Отлично. Мне нравится, когда мои парни счастливы. Будьте уверены, этот псих придет помочиться на ваши окровавленные трупы после того, как монстр, которого я видел, сожрет ваши мозги. Наслаждайтесь погодой. Говорят, будет туман и дождь. Будде. Ну, он уже может приходить.
This is my watch. Damn grave robbers.
Так, я пробралась на какой-то завод литейный и нашла кабинет. Давайте посмотрим, что тут есть. Насмешки над стражами. Прошло более 100 лет с тех пор, как стражи Привена откололись от братства Святого Павла. Значит, они раньше были вместе. Теперь, когда наши братства значительно разошлись во взглядах, важно помнить, что произошло и почему мы, увы, считаем наших бывших братьев врагами и почему смеемся над их правилами. Кендалл Стоун основал организацию Стражи Привена в 1801 году. Он был бывшим легатом братства и членом совета. Его уход произошел в результате дискуссии среди членов совета, которая выявила неразрешимые противоречия. Кендалл заявил, что братство должно пересмотреть свою политику ненасилия по отношению к вампирам. Он считал, что нашей главной целью должно быть их уничтожение этих бессмертных. После того страшного раскола отношения между стражами и братством навсегда были сложными. Стражи считают братство предателями и союзниками врагов, а мы называем их ворами и фанатиками. Ведь, уходя, они украли или уничтожили многие древние и ценные книги, которые мы хранили в течение столетий. Но я постоянно спорю с теми, кто выдвигает против стражи обвинения в трусости. Мне известно, какая смелость нужна для того, чтобы приближаться к враждебно настроенным бессмертным и изучать их. Я никогда не прощу уничтожение уникальных книг и свитков, которые сожгли Кендалл и его сторонники. И всегда буду смеяться над их глупостью, которая выражается даже в названии. Они решили назваться Стражами Привена в честь щита короля Артура и тем самым позиционировать себя как истинных защитников страны, в то время как любому ученому известно, что в книге Талиесина Придвен всего лишь имя корабля Артура, на котором он отправился к таинственным землям Ануила. Вот это символ. Шепот из прошлого, Ашер Толтри, глава Братства Святого Павла.
Good evening, Mr. Delaney.
What? Oh, you're that doctor.
Is there anything... I found the location of the explosion, Mr. Delaney. I placed a flower for you where it happened, just as you asked.
Really? That's so kind. I never thought someone would... Well, thank you, Doctor.
It's nothing, really. And I'm sorry for your loss.
What? No, I didn't know them. No car was supposed to park there that day. Stupid bastard, why did he park there?
You're the man who hid that bomb.
I don't want to talk about it. Leave me alone.
I sense your guilt, Dyson. Why is that? Did you not think violence was an acceptable political tool?
I still believe our fight was just. By killing an innocent couple who were just at the wrong place at the wrong time. No way.
That bomb also killed you that day, don't you see? You just die a slower death, drink by drink.
I know. Maybe I deserve judgment. Until that day, I'll just be Dyson the drunk, not Dyson the murderer.
I want you to remember the bomb, Dyson. Tell me about it.
No. I don't want to remember it.
Why use a bomb? What were you trying to destroy?
The Dawson & Dawson ammunitions factory. A symbol of violence against the people. My group wanted to destroy it to send a message.
The victims. They were not the target then.
I spent so much time figuring out the perfect moment. I used a short fuse. No car had ever parked there. They all died.
No, Dyson, they didn't all die. I met a boy who survived the explosion.
I never heard of an injured boy.
Not a scratch on him. I suspect he wasn't in the car when it exploded.
In the car? You mean...
Yes, Dyson. You killed his parents.
Why tell me this?
I don't know. Perhaps one day you'll talk to him and tell him the truth.
Who is that boy? How can I find him?
That's easy. Most of the time, he's in the same place. The place you never want to go back to. Goodbye, Mr. Delaney. Good evening, Miss Cox.
Hello again, Dr. Reed. What do you want?
Booth Digby looks at you with love-struck eyes. Tell me, Edwina, is the feeling mutual?
You have no idea how refreshing it can be for a woman to receive all the pleasure she needs. For once.
I'll take your word for it.
What is it, Doctor? A woman's not supposed to talk about these things.
Behind all your crude words and your attitude, I sense romance and a soft heart, Miss Cox.
Romance? I have no time for such rubbish. I use Booth like I use everyone else.
Tell me your feelings about Booth's belief in monsters, Edwina.
It makes him look weak in front of the boys, that's my feeling about it. But ghosts don't scare me.
You don't believe he really saw something then?
I don't care what he saw or not. All I know is that a real man keeps his fears to himself if he wants to be obeyed.
I managed to reach the mass grave in Southwark. It was not pleasant.
Spare me the details, Dr. Reed. All I want to know is what happened to those bastards who owed me money.
I'm afraid those bastards, as you call them, are in the mass grave.
Dead? Shit. That money would have been useful. Well, I'll tell my boys to avoid the place if it's that dangerous.
Yes. Everybody should avoid that place until further notice.
Okay then, Doctor. It looks like you deserve your reward after all. The Wet Boot Boys thank you for your help.
Goodbye, Miss Cox.
You again. What do you want?
I know you believe monsters are real, Booth.
They are. I know, I saw one, but no one believes me.
Tell me what you saw.
It was a few years ago. Clay Cox was still the boss then. He'd sent me to the shipyard to find out who was stealing tools and ropes at night.
Go on.
First, I thought it was an old lady with a limp. It looked frail and crooked. Then I saw it grab a bloody beam and lift it like it was a stick. I shouted. It looked straight at me.
Do you know what it was?
It was all eyes and long teeth, but I couldn't see its face. I shot at it when it moved towards me and I hit it. And then it jumped and vanished in the shadows.
You could have imagined all that. These docks can be so gloomy at night. With the fog and the wind and the boats creaking.
No, Doctor. That night I saw the fucking sewer dog for real. It's not a beast like the stories say. It's the ghost of an old woman. Bullets can't stop it. But no one believes me.
Are your friends mocking you?
Even Edwina told me once to never speak about it, but I know what I saw. And it wasn't human. Not human at all.
I know you're looking for an honest job, Booth. You're tired of this criminal life, aren't you?
It's just an idea. Edwina loves to run things so much. You can never really leave the gang. Wet boys for life, you know?
Goodbye, Mr. Digby.
Scared. It's people I should fear. Flesh and blood.
Good evening, Mrs. Fishburne. May I come in, please?
Of course. Dr. Reed. Please don't stay too long, sir. What can I do for you, Dr. Reed?
В общем, я собираюсь отдать ожерелье ей. По-моему, в прошлый раз я отдавал ожерелье Сеймуру. Я не помню, что там было и какая между этим разница. В общем, по-моему, не важно.
I believe you may find this necklace of interest.
What is it? I don't understand.
It's a gift your son was hoping to give you. But I'm afraid it links him to the nearby murders.
You mean this belongs to one of his victims? Jesus. I knew this day would come. Please, Dr. Reed, accept this for your trouble and leave me be.
This day? You mean you already knew? Are you buying my silence? I will not be an accomplice in this.
What? No. No. My son's crimes distress me more than you can imagine. But I'm his mother. I love him, I do.
Your son's gone way beyond simply bullying people. He has a taste for blood, and you know it, don't you, Stella?
One night, he told me straight up, in his own words. It was several days after one of his episodes.
Why did he confess? Did you suspect something?
No. I guess he wanted his old mum to help him fight his, demons.
Did Seymour tell you everything that night?
More than I could stand. The words he used to describe his hate, his rage, how he feels when he's done it.
Tell me about these demons Seymour needs your help to fight.
Seymour used to be such a happy child, and he is still a helping son most of the time. But when he gets angry, he can hardly contain his rage.
All men and women are born innocent, Mrs. Fishburne. But there can be a monster within any of us.
Do you think he can be cured, Doctor? Do you think something can extinguish this rage inside my Seymour?
Science has only just begun to investigate the mysteries of the human mind. Currently, we have more assumptions than fact.
There ain't no hope then. Somehow, somewhere, my son has turned into a monster, and nothing will bring him back.
Stella, I know you are ashamed of your son's crimes. So why do you protect Seymour?
I can't report my own son, can I? Not a burden I could bear.
Burden? How do you mean?
They'd hang him for sure. I won't send my only son to his death.
I understand your pain, but you cannot mother him forever.
If someone ever found the courage to speak to the police, I will take my share.
Goodbye, Miss Fishburne. Take care of yourself.
Please don't stay too long, sir.
Давайте теперь поговорим с этим убийцей.
Good evening, Mr. Fishburne.
Yeah.
Why is your mother protecting you, Seymour?
I'm her son. She's the only one who knows me. Sometimes I think she knows me better than I know myself.
I understand you love her, but can't you see the awful situation you've put her in?
Do you think my mum would have a better life if I were dead? She seems so sad to know me sometimes.
I don't believe death is the appropriate sentence for murder. Not in a civilized society. But the last word has to remain with the law.
There is no law around here. No justice to be found. In these parts, revenge is the only answer.
Tell me about your victims, Seymour. Who were they? Why them? Was there a link?
Why should there be? They just kept getting on my nerves at the worst times, that's all.
How many? How many victims?
It's not like I keep records. It happens when it happens.
You feel nothing, do you? No empathy for your victims at all?
You seem pretty calm yourself, don't you?
We're not talking about me.
All right. Well, our calm's the only thing we have in common then.
Did you take pleasure in killing them, Seymour? All those people, all those lives extinguished.
I take no pleasure from it. Just gives me peace. Stills the anger. For a time.
Don't you think you should seek help? Talk to someone you trust, someone who cares about you.
No. And don't dare speak about me to your colleagues either. Keep your mouth shut tight. Especially about my mum.
This rage you feel, have you ever been able to control it? Resist it?
I tried. For my mum, I tried for her. Telling the truth made me feel better. For a while.
Goodbye, Mr. Fishburne.
Don't forget to count each bullet you fire.
You told me that already.
Nice shot. You learn quickly. Pointing an empty gun could be a fatal mistake.
It's easier when I picture the bastard's face.
Welcome back, Doctor. What can I do for you?
Why are you teaching your waitress how to use a pistol?
Sabrina is a nice girl who's already faced a lot of problems in her life. She does not need another.
Goodbye, Mr. Watts.
Something can be done to get out of this bullshit mess. No? Welcome back, Doctor.
Goodbye, Mr. Watts.
You still working at this hour? That's what I call dedication.
I know you've been learning to use a gun, Sabrina. What are you up to?
I just want to feel safe when I go home at night.
I understand. Everyone has the right to defend themselves.
Yeah, especially when there's no justice around.
Goodbye, Miss Cavendish.
Бутылки.
Tom has so much alcohol, he could keep this district afloat for quite some time.
Ну, не знаю. По-моему, маловато. Сколько это? На неделю? Так. Газетная статья. Юноша арестован за покушение на убийство. Вчера вечером полиция арестовала молодого человека по имени Том Уотс за покушение на убийство в знаменитом ресторане «Серебряный колокол» на Персиваль-стрит. Примерно минуту подозреваемый стоял перед рестораном, целясь в посетителей из пистолета. Два свидетеля немедленно сообщили об этом полиции. Уотсон дал себя арестовать, но отказался объяснять свои действия и лишь назвал свое имя. Полицейский, который ответил на наши вопросы, подтвердил, что пистолет был заряжен. Скорее всего, теперь суд и его величество покарает Уотса по всей строгости закона. Юноша отправится в тюрьму, по крайней мере, на несколько лет. За то, что он целился из пистолета. По-моему, слишком жестоко.
Welcome back, Doctor. What can I do for you?
Tell me about your arrest for attempted murder, Tom.
I tried to kill someone. I got arrested. I paid my debt and I have nothing to hide.
So you mean your customers know about your sordid past?
Yeah, why do you think this is the last pub open? I have nothing to hide and I don't judge. That's a relief for many round here.
Do you think prison changed you? Made you a better man?
Oh, I don't know about that. All I brought back is bad memories, scars, and an ugly tattoo of a blue turtle.
But do you feel cleansed of your sins?
All I know is that I'm at peace. I did what I did, but I wouldn't do it again. Does that make me a better man? I don't know.
Why not leave town and start a new life after you got out of jail?
I grew up in the East End. This is where my roots are. This is where I want to help others and die, eventually.
Do you think the docks will always be a hive of scum and villainy?
As long as poverty and fear run the show, I don't see how it would change. Misery loves company, as they say.
Don't you feel threatened, staying in such a violent and criminal neighborhood?
I've made peace with my violent past, Dr. Reed. I may not be a pacifist, but I'm not angry anymore.
You attempted murder. give me some details?
I was given an order to kill. I was an obedient gang member at the time, a proud wet boot boy.
Why did you join the gang?
Because I finally felt useful. Do you have any idea what it means to feel respected when the rest of the world shits on you?
So you were ordered to kill someone. What happened then?
I don't know if you can possibly understand, but I couldn't kill him. I just stood there pointing my gun. Someone saw me. I gave up.
Why couldn't you shoot?
My target was eating in that fancy restaurant with mirrors and music. He was eating, drinking, laughing. He was having such a good time. I hated him for his bottomless appetite and easy life of easy pickings. And then something happened.
You refused to kill him because you wanted to feel some of that happiness yourself. You empathized with him.
Exactly. The man was a bloody landlord who rented overpriced flats. A selfish bastard. But he made me smile. And I was no different from him.
You lied to me, Tom. Your warehouse wasn't empty. It was inhabited with armed vigilantes.
I'm sorry, Dr. Reed, but I thought those Prewen guards would be willing to let someone like you pass without trouble.
That was devious of you, Tom. Next time you can bloody well go yourself.
I apologize, Doctor, but it's just that I prefer to avoid the law, its enforcers, and all manner of thugs in uniform.
Here is your booze. I hope it will appease your customers. Just try not to kill anyone with this poison of yours.
Believe me, Doctor, most of my customers are less agreeable when sober.
Goodbye, Mr. Watts.
I should have offered a drink to the boy. Be he cursed or not, he's
You still
just
working at this
another
hour?
lost orphan.
Were you aware of Tom's past incarceration?
That's the first thing he told me when he offered me the job. He didn't want me hearing about his past from anyone else.
Did it surprise you to find out about it?
Not really. I was already aware of his reputation before I met him. That's why I came to the Turtle in the first place.
Most people would have run away because of that.
Not me. I thought a man like him could give me stability, you know? At least to some degree. And I wasn't mistaken.
Tell me, Sabrina, do you really believe Tom has renounced his life of crime?
He proves it to me every day he tells the truth. Tom Watts is a good man. One of the best.
And you don't think he might fall back into his sordid ways?
We can all do terrible things, Dr. Reed. And we never know what we're really capable of until it's too late.
Goodbye, Miss Cavendish. Good evening, Dr. Strickland.
And good evening to you, Dr. Reed. Can I be of any help?
I located the shop, but it was vandalized, and the owner is missing. All I found was your order.
I was afraid of such bad news. People are so desperate they're ready to burgle a shop for drugs.
That's quite a list you ordered. Opium, sodium hypochlorite. It can't be just headaches you're trying to cure.
This dreadful influenza, of course. I already ran some tests on hopeless cases. Without success, I must admit.
Do you realize you could create a lethal poison without the correct dosage? Then there are the legal ramifications.
Is this not true of any medical substance, Dr. Reed? However, if you would agree to improve it, I'd be glad to accept your help.
As long as you promise to be scrupulous with your experiments, I may try to gather these substances, and even help improve upon the mixture.
That's all I'm asking for, Dr. Reed. That's all I'm asking.
I want to know about these secret tests you run, and if they can save people from this epidemic. Speak to me now, Thoreau.
I know I may sound presumptuous, but I'm just following your steps, Dr. Reed. I'm casting away the shadows of ignorance by daring to face them.
Self-confidence is essential in our line of work, my young colleague. but only if tempered with the correct amount of cynicism.
But you never doubt yourself, Dr. Reed. I've read all your articles and books. You performed the most daring research during the war.
Don't you think we have enough work already? Perhaps now is not the best time to be chasing shadows.
Chasing shadows, really? It's funny those words coming from the only doctor here who has spent more time outside this hospital than in.
Goodbye, Dr. Strickland. I can't let Strickland put his patients at risk with opium. Perhaps an adjusted formula will deliver more of a placebo effect. Strickland's project could be dangerous. I have a mind to report him to Dr. Ackroyd.
I'm quite busy right now, Dr. Reed.
What do you think of Dr. Tippett's opinion of your promotion, Waverley?
Tippett is a good practitioner. Maybe just a little too attached to his prestigious position at the Pembroke Hospital.
Really? That's exactly his diagnosis of you. A little too eager to get promoted? A little bit too proud?
He has the right to think so. But I deserve this promotion, and I don't consider it anything but well-earned.
Do you think Dr. Strickland has any chance of curing the Spanish flu by himself?
His wish to cure the sick is not driven by pride, but by an idealistic view about our mission here. Honestly, I don't know which is worse.
You consider him a good practitioner, yet you will not report his methods.
Strickland may be a rival, but I will not use dirty tricks or regulations to prove him wrong. We are doctors, not politicians.
Я думаю, стоит отдать эту микстуру ему, потому что Стрикланд, неопытный, как и он сам говорит, и это видно по его опытам. И не стоит так рисковать, наверное, пока что. Может быть, лет через 5 Стрикленд сможет сделать что-то более хорошее.
I know that you're a busy man, but I could use your help and advice.
The great Dr. Reed honors me with a request. What is it exactly?
Dr. Strickland devised an experimental drug for the Spanish flu that he asked me to manufacture.
You know what I think of fringe medical experimentation?
That's exactly why I want you to keep the result, Doctor. I made sure it won't harm anyone, but I'd like you to take care of it.
I see. Put it in my cabinet. I'll give you the key. I'll make sure no one uses this medication by mistake.
I'll do that. Thank you for your help, Dr. Ackroyd.
Thank you for your trust on the matter, Dr. Reed.
Thank you for your time. We'll talk later.
Ладно, давайте проверим, что там у него в кабинете. Это было где-то тут. По пути в наш кабинет, по-моему. Не этот. У них один кабинет на двоих.
It's locked, all right. Now that Dr. Ackroyd has been warned, he should make good use of this formula. It's locked. It's locked, all right.
Все закрыто. Письмо доктору Свонси. Пембрукская больница, 14 октября. Дорогой доктор Свонси, несмотря на тяжелую ситуацию, я вынужден сообщить о недавнем служебном поступке, который произошел в Пембрукской больнице. Было неопровержимо доказано, что медсестра Гвинет Бранаган вела себя непрофессионально и тем самым подвергла опасности жизнь пациента. Ни при каких обстоятельствах медсестра не должна ставить диагноз и выписывать лекарства, не известив об этом лечащего врача. Эдгар, вы меня знаете, я не против личной инициативы, если она идет на пользу делу, особенно в условиях нашего кризиса. Но мы не можем допускать, чтобы медсестра ставила диагноз и назначала курс лечения. Тот факт, что пациент выжил, не является смягчающим обстоятельством. Это просто означает то, что в этот раз нам страшно повезло. Я требую, чтобы виновный был наказан по всей строгости. С уважением, доктор Экроид. Просто сделать ее врачом. И все, и она сможет ставить диагнозы. Карта М. Госвика. Пациент Мортимер Госвик, мужчина 23 года, лечащий врач доктор Экроид, в состоянии выздоравливает. Дата поступления 27 октября. Дата выписки еще не определена. Примечание. У пациента симптомы крайней усталости на языке, во рту и в глотке, многочисленные язвы, но ни одного симптома инфлюенции. Отказывается говорить, утверждает, что это слишком болезненно. Нуждается в отдыхе и лечении слизистой оболочки горла. Только после этого можно принимать решение о его выписке. Что он выпил такое? Кстати, да, мы можем с ним поговорить. Я же была у него дома. Мы можем отдать письмо его матери или ему самому, но я думаю, что лучше отдать письмо ему, потому что тогда он расскажет нам, что же он там сделал такое.
I'm all right.
Good evening, Mr. Goswick. How are you?
I'm okay.
Your medical report says you're not affected by the Spanish flu. What do you think of that, Mortimer?
Does it make me happy? Not in the slightest. If it was up to me, I would have left this place long ago. I know I don't belong here.
And why do you think you don't belong here?
I know the staff have more important things to do than look after me. There's plenty of patients here who need their attention.
I've read your letter, Mortimer. You wrote about an unbearable feeling of despair while the world crumbles around you. Tell me more about it.
There's nothing more to say, really. It's hurtful, it's unbearable, and I don't ask anyone to understand what I feel.
Что значит боль стоит использовать? Какие странные варианты. Отчаяние и смертельный яд.
The world is bleak, but maybe the pain we feel is the best compass for making it a better place.
How can we repair the world, Dr. Reed, when mankind is the biggest problem? Yes, the world will be a much better place when we're gone.
I have retrieved your letter, Mr. Goswick. I can assure you that nobody read it but me.
Thank you. This is for you, then. For your help. And for your silence.
I think you should talk to your mother. It would be good for both of you.
Thank you, Dr. Reed. I'll think about it. Now, please, let me be.
I have to go now, sir. But don't hesitate to contact me if you need any help.
Что же он там такое выпил?
Good evening, Doctor. How is my son doing?
Он не болеет инфлюенсой.
I've read your son's medical report, Beatrice. It's not the flu or anything life-threatening. What has you so worried?
He was at death's door when he was brought here. I just want him to be better as soon as possible.
He's not out of the woods yet, you know. He might need to stay here longer than expected.
Take care of him then, Dr. Reed. People here only seem to focus on contagious patients. I worry my poor Mortimer will be neglected.
Mortimer is extremely vague as to his motivations for committing suicide. Tell me more about what you know.
As you say, Mortimer had no reason to die. All All he said to me was that he wanted to make the world a better place, but couldn't.
Why did your son feel so useless when facing the world?
I think it was more that he could only see the melancholy facets of life. He couldn't help but dwell on such things.
What do you think he meant by making the world a better place?
Mortimer has always been a sensitive soul. He wouldn't talk to anyone for months after his father passed. It's like he carries everyone's sadness with him.
You realize your son could try to kill himself again. He might succeed next time.
I think about it every minute. But I won't stop fighting for my son's future. That's how much I love him.
Ну и то, и другое правда, конечно. Не знаю, что ответить.
You're right. Your son's death was not fatal. And unlike many on their own, he is lucky to have you by his side.
I can't give up on him. I just can't. I have conceded many times in my life, but giving up on my son is something I am incapable of.
I have read your son's suicide note. It was not an impulsive gesture, nor was it his first attempt.
He threatened to kill himself a few times before. But I never thought he would dare to punish me this much.
Punish you? Why?
I've known for a long time he was not happy with his life. But I always hoped he cared enough to avoid making me suffer like this.
Goodbye, Mrs. Goswick. Good evening, Miss...
I'm okay.
Your mother won't let you down, Mortimer. Don't you share her hope for a better future?
No. I don't.
Won't you even try?
Do you want me to promise you I'll get better? Do you want me to tell her the same thing? I could, but it would not change anything.
I have to go now, sir. But don't hesitate to contact me if you need any help.
I'm all right. Don't waste
Записка мокрых ботинок. Относительно вербовки парней в Уайтчепеле. Кажется, одного я нашел. Это Альби. Он тупой, как табурет, но крепкий. Я попросил его раздобыть лекарства для продажи на черном рынке, и он быстро их доставил. При следующей встрече я скажу ему, что его приняли в мокрые ботинки, и теперь он должен получать приказы у своих новых боссов. Я убила тут какого-то монстра 18 уровня, и вот что мне выпало. Альби — это сын того, кто пытался его застрелить. Тот, кто украл
I'm sure Albert would like to know he's been accepted by the Wet Boot Boys.
Еще одно логово стражей Привена. Давайте-ка посмотрим, что тут. Ты был тут один? Не повезло тебе. Отчет о Пембургской больнице. 2 ноября. От разведчика Луиса Кегни. Кому? Мистеру Джеффри Маккалуму. Мы с ним еще встретимся, он классный чувак. Тема: Пембургская больница, разведка действия вампиров. Сэр, мы наблюдаем за Пембургской больницей уже 2 недели и можем подтвердить, что там действуют вампиры. Во-первых, теперь у нас есть доказательства того, что в больнице находится женщина-кровосос. Это хитроумная тварь. Чтобы замаскироваться, она выдает себя за психически больную. Я лично пробрался в больницу и слышал, как это существо жалуется на то, что ей нужна кровь, на то, что ее тело разлагается. Но что еще не все. Но это еще не все. Администратор Пембургской больницы доктор Суонси, по словам нашего командира Аманды Тилтон, которая погибла вчера в бою со Скалем у канала, Суонси, возможно, является членом братства Святого Павла. Если это так, то в больнице, возможно, происходит что-то серьезное. Может, там даже логово вампиров, и их защищают предатели из братства? Мы не знаем, что делать, но убеждены, что вам стоит побыстрее прислать сюда подкрепление и тяжелое снаряжение. Нож какой-то. Старый кол стражи Привена. Великая охота, да здравствуют наши павшие товарищи. Да здравствуют наши павшие товарищи, вославим их храбрость, ведь мы победили. Братья, стражи одержали верх. Мы выследили этих врагов человечества, скрывающихся в темных городских подземельях. Мы уничтожали нечисть и в их гнусных логовах. Мы разожгли праведный огонь битвы в их самых темных убежищах. Никогда еще люди не вели такой масштабной войны против бессмертных. Запомните эту победу, братья, ибо она доказывает правоту наших действий. Быть начеку, никогда не сдаваться, быть всегда готовыми к борьбе. Да, братья, наши методы хороши, и благодаря нам Англия может спать спокойно. Благодаря тем, кого укусили и убили враги, или же мы сами, когда они поворотились против нас. Не бойтесь, братья, и не сомневайтесь. Сегодня я буду оплакивать ваших товарищей. Я плачу, павших товарищей. Я плачу, ведь я старик, которому повезло перед смертью увидеть, что его цель достигнута. Стражам Привена всего полвека, но мы уже достигли большего, чем предатели из братства Святого Павла за 500 лет. Это была наша первая великая охота. Пусть выжившие кровососы знают, что нас не остановить. Враг Кандалстоун, основатель стражей Привена. Кендлстоун. Каменная свеча. Это так переводится? Не уверена. Или свечной камень. Так, тут все.
Good evening, Benjamin. Can I help you?
I'm afraid not, Mr. Reed.
У меня есть записка о том, что Альберта приняли в мокрые ботинки. Так же это называется, да? Вот. Я думаю, что стоит отдать эту записку его отцу, потому что, это плохая дорожка, как мы уже много раз видели. И он еще молод, и ему не стоит ввязываться во все это. Я надеюсь, что он не разозлится и не застрелит его.
I have found a very interesting letter. Your son planned to prove his worth to the gang by stealing your medicine.
Oh, I see. So the little bugger thought he could use his dad to build a reputation.
The gang's recruiter was dead when I found him. Perhaps you should take better care of your son.
I love my Albert, sir. Believe me. It's just... Well, I'm an arsehole, I suppose. Anyway, thanks for the letter. This is for your trouble.
Все?
A gun, alcohol, and a bad temper make a terrible cocktail, sir. Goodbye for now.
Давайте поговорим теперь с его сыном. Может быть, что-нибудь он скажет на это. Где он? Он же всегда тут сидел. Эй, ты где? Куда ты пошел, а?
How are you, boy?
I'm not your boy, all right? Now piss off.
Вообще все закрыто. Странно, странно.
Goodbye, young man.
There it is. Harmonil for severe anxiety and nervous disposition. Thanks for nothing, old fart. I'll get a good price for your precious pills.
Маленький гаденыш. Сейчас мы с тобой поговорим.
How are you, boy?
I'm not your boy, all right? Now piss off.
Why did you try to steal your father's medication?
Why shouldn't I? What has he ever done to earn my respect?
Your father seems to hold quite a grudge against you.
Man's a walking gym bottle. I ain't seen him sober since he got back from the war. But the gun, now that is a surprise.
It is clear that you have a somewhat contentious relationship with your father.
Oh, really? Nothing clever to say?
He's an alcoholic. That must make life difficult.
Oh, no, it's perfectly fine. No money, no home, no friends to lend a hand. My father should have died in France.
War can change you. I have seen many men who have lost their wits on the battlefield.
I'm not going to lose any more time with that drunken arse. Me? I prefer to take my chances with the wet boot boys.
Why do you want to join a gang, Albert?
I'm not going to spend the rest of my life sleeping under bridges.
I understand that living in poverty may be a doorway to a life of crime. But you are still young enough to turn back.
I'm not a child anymore. I'm old enough to do what needs to be done.
Crime may seem easy. A quick way to riches, but it's a quicker way to the end of a rope.
My world may be small, Mr. Fancy Pants, but at least here I'm king.
Admit it. You stole the drugs to prove yourself to the gang.
Of course I did. The wet boot boys got it sorted. Territory, respect, money. They'll take me in now.
Really? Are you sure about that? I don't see them.
I was supposed to meet one of their boys to prove I'm not a loser. Maybe something happened.
Да.
Goodbye, young man.
Ну что теперь скажет твой папаша на это?
When science fails you, this elixir will give you faith.
Good evening,
again.
Benjamin. Can I help you?
I'm afraid not, Mr. Reed.
Did you know of your son's plans to join the Wet Boot Boys gang?
Barely survived the war, just to come back and see me wife die of the flu, and my son turn into a petty thug.
Protect your son, Benjamin. Don't you see? Whatever your quarrels, his salvation could be yours.
According to him, everything's my fault. We've nothing left to say or to save.
Your suspicions concerning Albert were legitimate, but were you sure he was guilty when you shot him? Tell me the truth, Benjamin.
No, I wasn't. I just went mad without realizing what I was doing. My God. I almost shot him.
You had better speak to Albert. You need to clear the air. He has to understand what you endured, and you must listen to him talk about his pain.
I'm afraid it's too late. I pointed a gun at him for the sake of a few pills.
A gun, alcohol, and a bad temper make a terrible cocktail, sir. Goodbye for now.
Even the flu is no.
Good evening, Nurse Brannigan.
Good evening, Doctor.
According to the report I read, your unprofessional conduct put a patient in danger, Gwyneth.
That's not true. I know when my patient's life is at risk, and I'm more competent than a lot of doctors that I know. Problem is, I'm a woman.
I don't see what your gender has to do with your abilities, nurse.
Yes, nurse. Because I'll never be a doctor, no matter what my skills. I could make a decision that could save a life, but oh no, that's unbecoming conduct.
Have you heard of Elizabeth Blackwell? She was the first woman listed on the UK medical register. Change is slow, but it will come. And you will always have my support.
To have the right to study shouldn't be determined by sex, skin, or wealth. That's all I'm saying.
Goodbye, nurse. Call me if you need assistance. Good evening, Dr. Tippett.
Dr. Reed, any good news to share?
Nurse Brannigan has been recently accused of neglecting her professional duties. Tell me what you really think about it.
This kind of protest is nothing but elitist bullshit. I trust Nurse Brannigan with my life. She has what it takes to be a great doctor.
Do you really think she could be the next Elizabeth Blackwell?
Believe me, Dr. Reed, a time will come when skill and skill alone will determine who can be a physician and who cannot.
Goodbye, Dr. Tippett.
Damn it! Why is this so difficult every time?
That is better. That is better. I will make it through one more night.
Наркоман.
Good evening, Dr. Tippett.
Dr. Reed, any good news to share?
I know you're taking drugs, Corcoran. Why take such a risk?
I needed to endure the long shifts. We have no idea how long the epidemic will last. We can't let it win.
Даже не знаю. Наверное, логичнее сказать, что это не выход.
I understand the gesture, Doctor. An immediate answer to an emergency situation. But this can't be a long-term solution.
Thank you for your understanding, my dear colleague. And be assured, I have total control of my consumption.
Goodbye, Dr. Tippett. Good evening, Nurse Brannigan.
Good evening, Doctor.
Tell me, nurse, did you know Dr. Tippett was addicted to medication?
I suspected this behavior for some time, but never dared to ask him about it. Until the day he confessed to me.
Why would he confess to you about his addiction, Nurse Brannigan?
Don't you know you doctors can't hide anything from a nurse? We're always there, even if you don't notice us.
Do you consider yourselves our confessors, Nurse Brannigan?
I wouldn't dare, Dr. Reed. But I'm intrigued. How did you discover Dr. Tippett's secret?
What can I say? I seem to have a knack for discovering secrets.
And for hiding them as well.
Подкрадываться из-за угла. Подглядывать
Do you
через окно.
approve of his addiction?
Of course I don't approve. But I understand he needs it to fight the exhaustion. Let's hope he'll stop injecting himself once the epidemic is over.
And what if he doesn't?
Then we'll have to convince him to stop. I believe he's still in control of his addiction, for now, but we must remain vigilant.
Goodbye, nurse. Call me if you need assistance. Good evening, Miss Howcroft. How are you tonight?
I need blood, Doctor. Warm, rich, vibrant blood.
I have made inquiries about the men who were tracking you, Miss Howcroft.
I did not expect a mortal to have this sort of courage. Speak, Doctor. Why are they hunting me down?
It was a misunderstanding. These hunters were in fact looking for a very different creature, but they mistakenly put their sights on you.
I knew it. I have become undone. Those hunters have discovered me, but they don't know what I'm capable of.
If you'll accept some advice from a petty mortal, I think you should assume a low profile and just quietly disappear into the shadows.
You are right. And you have served me well, mortal. Take this as a reward for your time. Perhaps I will allow you to drink deep of my blood. One day.
Thank you. I'll keep that proposition in mind. I'll leave you, Mistress of the Dark, to your nocturnal activities.
Ну, теперь она хотя бы в безопасности. Так, вроде как я закончила все, что могла. Ну, тут точно закончила. Так, на кладбище я не могу попасть, не могу зайти к этому мужчине, потому что у меня уровень гипноза низкий, нужен 3. И к этим людям я еще тоже не могу пройти, там тоже закрыто. Так что давайте на этом закончим. В следующей серии мы точно идем к Эмили, потому что делать больше нечего. Всем пока. Увидимся в следующей серии.